Welcome to the Ashes to Intimacy podcast, where James and Daegan Phoenix tell you the secrets of the best possible marriage.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to talk about intimacy in marriage and why we have such a big struggle in relationships with intimacy over time. In marriages and committed relationships over time, there's often a disconnection between the partners caused by a lack of intimacy skills. And we're going to talk about those intimacy skills today and how you can improve your marriage or your committed relationship by just doing these specific things I'm going to teach you. So stick to the very end so that you can learn these amazing skills that we're going to teach about. So there's a disconnection that happens in relationships over time that can often lead to porn use or overuse, sometimes infidelity or disconnection. There are kinds of sexual addictions. What we're going to talk about is connect the intimacy to avoid these major pitfalls, porn use instead of intimacy with your partner. What causes disconnection in a relationship?
To me, intimacy is a really vital thing in a relationship. Without intimacy, you don't really have that bonding relationship that you need to have to last a long time in your relationship.
Yeah, like 20 years plus.
Yeah, like without that intimacy, forget about it. And intimacy is built on trust, but it's also built on really close connecting and communicating with each other and being able to see each other from a deeper perspective than just a very shallow, surface level, interacting with people throughout our day, friends, coworkers, family members, extended family, strangers you see on the street. We're dealing with people all the time. All of those instances, surface level, it's like, hello, you got your manners, you're trying to be polite, you're dealing with people. That's really intimate.
Not really, no.
And so there's only a very small number of people in your life you actually have the opportunity, or the time, frankly, to build a really intimate connection with, because it does take time, effort, commitment. Like, you can't just wake up one morning and have this really powerful, intimate relationship with somebody. It's something that you have to build over time and cultivate and grow like a garden.
Yes, like a garden.
And it's something that you can have and you can lose. It could fade over time, wither on the vine.
Yeah.
So
what causes the withering on the vine, do you think?
Well, I think that there's several different things that can cause it, but one of the big ones is, in the context of a marriage, when you're trying to be open and honest with your partner, you're trying to share things with them. A lot of times when you're doing that, you're being very vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. You're talking about things that are really uncomfortable for you. Risk rejection or being hurt. And so if I share something with you, like for example, if I'm dealing with something at work that's really stressing me out, it's really challenging.
Yeah.
And I don't like to portray myself as being weak.
Yeah.
Because I am the man, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to be weak. But when I'm dealing with something that's really hard for me,
yeah,
sometimes I want to be able to share that with my partner, support system.
Yes.
So if I share that with you,
yes,
and so from a very vulnerable place when I do that, and then you're like, suck it up.
So if I just kind of discard what he has to say and
or ignore, discount it like it's not that big of a deal.
You're not important to me right now. It conveys this message of the other person not being important, not being number one person or your soulmate. So if we want to have that kind of connection, that soulmate connection, which is what we advocate for, that deep, intimate love that is very passionate and very connected, we have to be willing to hear our partner speak to us. And so that's the beginning part of intimacy. So being able to hear them speak and be able to repeat back to them what they are telling us. Basically, when he says to me, I'm having a hard day at work, I'm dealing with a difficult situation financially or any kind of issue that he might be facing, maybe emotional disconnection or struggles with diet and exercise or anything at all. Me being able to hear him and repeat back what he's saying, I hear you saying, and then repeat back to him and give him the time of day that is required for him to feel like I'm hearing him. For him to be respectful also of my time and give me a check-in, but not to spend time going really deep and causing a lot of disconnection if we aren't respectful of a person's time as well. When I say I hear you saying, and then I say, did I get that right? Can let me know whether or not I did get it right. And just me making eye contact with James and helping him to feel like I can really hear him and he feels understood and heard. And for him to do that for me as well when I'm having an emotional day, when I'm having struggles, and for him to say, I hear you saying, and then to be really attentive with me, to drop what he's doing or to like make eye contact, and he's not available for that, or if I'm not available for that at that time, to make a commitment for a short time in the future, not too long, but to schedule a time when that will work, and to be respectful of the fact that maybe he has something he needs to deal with right now, or I have something I need to deal with right now. So that's like kind of the first step in intimacy. And often in our marriages what will happen is we forget about that. Like when we're dating, we are very respectful of the person, we love them, we want to hear from them, we see the best in them, but as time goes on, we kind of discard them a bit. We don't give attention to their emotional state. We say, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, or we kind of disregard them. For something from us, we might be like, well, I'm too busy for that. Eventually feel discarded, which makes sense because over time, the more that we reject our partners, the more discarded they feel. And the more discarded they feel, the more that soulmate love kind of fades away. So it makes sense that marriages are failing around the world, more than 50%. And the ones that are even still together maybe aren't that great because of that disconnection. So that's what we believe is the first step towards intimacy, the next step after connection.
So you establish that connection, have to be consistent about it. Talked about earlier, one of the methods that we use is called a check-in, where you kind of just check in with your partner as needed, try to do it at least once a day. And this is a short check-in where you just kind of, one person will go and then the other person can go express with a few words how you're feeling, what's going on with you. The other partner is listening very intently to you, say a few things, and then they'll repeat back what they heard so that the other partner can feel like that you're listening and also that is heard and conveyed correctly. So if there's something that you missed or something that's not quite right, you can clarify. And this back and forth is really important because it helps it helps both of you feel like true communication is happening. Because a lot of times we're communicating, saying lots of stuff. And the other person's listening, we hope, but we don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know what they heard, what they didn't hear. Maybe they heard wrong. Maybe they just heard part of it. Maybe they
took offense to what's being said.
Maybe they took offense. Maybe they thought that you were saying one thing, but you actually meant something entirely different, and they were completely wrong about it. Like, that's why it's really important to get the feedback.
I hear you saying feedback.
That's something you could do every day to really kind of help stay plugged in with each other's internal life. So that helps build intimacy. Able to have something that's a little bit more substantial from time to time is called a heart talk. And that's where you can ask to have a heart talk. Say, are you open to hear my heart with your partner? And they have to be prepared to listen to this. And so they might be busy doing something and they just aren't ready for that right now. But they'll just say, well, I can't do it right now, but we can do it, such and such time or a little bit later or whatever the case is. And you just prioritize making yourself available for those heart talks. And that's really important because similar format, you're going to express things that's going on for you, things that are in your heart, and your partner's going to listen to you and repeat back what you're saying, and then you're going to go from there. And you can alternate, you could both do them, just do them separately, it just depends.
If one person does their heart talk and you want to respond, so say James did his heart talk, feeling a little bit be accused of something, or maybe I was taking offense to something that he said, it might not be the best time for me to do my heart talk right after his heart talk. Just simply because sometimes that negates what he said and how he feels, and so that might make him feel like he's not heard. So in that case, it's best to do the heart talk at another time so that he can totally feel heard. We do the heart talk, we do a check-in, which can be like 5 minutes. We can do a heart talk. And then during these conversations, what's really important is that there be intimate connection. So we're not just like looking at each other, we're not just paying attention to each other. We're also really giving them our full love and energy in that moment. So I find that when I give James this loving energy through my eyes and through my communication, he can feel my love for him. And when he does that for me, I can feel his love for me. And often when we're doing these check-ins and these heart talks, we really, really need to feel that love. We really need to feel that connective energy. And it's all about intention. So when we intend to send love, we send it. The other person can feel it. So when I touch him gently, when I look into his eyes, when I say, I'm really here for you, honey, I'm really listening. And even if he's saying something that might be a little bit difficult for me, I can continue to do the best I can to be completely present for him. And the disconnection often happens when we're either not present or we take offense to what the other person has to say, and that reduces our intimacy. And in those cases, when we do that, which we are inevitably going to do that, the best thing to do is to apologize. I apologize for being disrespectful is a nice way of saying that. Intentionally hurt another person's feelings. Sometimes we're not available for that heart talk. Sometimes we have to just say, I'm not available right now because I'm having my own emotional issues right now and I just need to do some self-care. I need to go take care of myself. I need a nap. I need some food. I need to do something that's fun. Right now I'm not available for that heart talk simply because I'm going to take the bait. I'm going to take offense to the things that you just said or you might be saying. So I'm not available. And if you do think you're available for heart talk, then you find that you're not available for the heart talk, and say, can we put a pause on this? Can we just do a little time out? Because right now I'm just not available to be fully present and loving with you at this time. And that at least you're going to avoid having this argument or a major disconnection, which is a loss of intimacy. And over time, when we have a continuous loss of intimacy, eventually we have major problems in the relationship that can lead to all kinds of issues: disconnection, seeking love and attention from other people, porn overuse, other addictive tendencies tend to come up. So what we are advocating for is intimacy between partners. When there is intimacy between partners, we find that love is so powerful that there is no need or any desire for anything else other than each other. That's what you got into when you got married. When you got into this committed relationship, was that you be completely present with each other and completely love each other. And for a time, we actually thought that that wasn't possible. James and I, like James, maybe we just can't have the same intimacy and love and soulmate connection that we once had. Maybe it's gone forever. And he believed that. And what changed your mind?
Learned the skills, teaching our program, implementing those skills, helped restore my faith that we're not uniquely broken, incapable of having a really amazing relationship. We just needed some help to learn the right skills and the right approach to how we talk to each other, how we interact with each other, how do we share things with each other. Intimacy building communication is so profound, such a huge game changer for us.
Yes.
It kind of took our relationship to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
It really just lit the fire and reconnected us in a way that I just didn't think was possible before. And we're living proof that it totally changes and transforms marriages. That's why we're so passionate about it. That's why we're here doing this program, as we want to share what we learned and what we've experienced with others to help them in their marriages, because our marriage was dying. It was dying. It didn't seem like there was any way that we were going to make it through it. And it was nothing short of miraculous, what we experienced and what we learned. And so that's why we're here to promote that. I
learned a lot of these skills during our marriage retreat that I attended. There's a lot of beauty in the retreat because of the spiritual connection that we felt with each other. And there was a lot of prayers being prayed for us. And we were praying for each other and very God-centered. And we promote that now in a lot of prayer and intimacy and meditation between the two of you, very intentional. And so when James and I have these beautiful heart talks, often we have to have a prayer first, a very meditative prayer. So not just a prayer that you just kind of say the words, but to actually mean the words and to really feel them and to intentionally bring that love into the conversation. We pray this way, and I am really present and allow that spiritual energy to flow through me. There's an intimacy that takes place between me and James and a healing that takes place that is really quite profound. We ask our clients to pray together, really look into each other's eyes and really see each other and allow that spiritual gift that we all have to flow into us and between us, and to be really intentionally loving towards each other. And as we do that, there's so much healing that takes place, that God can step in and heal our hearts, our broken hearts, often very, very broken hearts. Two parts to the broken heart. There's the person who cheated or was unfaithful, or maybe there was just a broken trust in some other way, porn use or overuse. It's a broken trust. It's hard often for us to allow that spiritual energy to heal us and to forgive each other and to move forward. But there's two people who are suffering: the has cheated, or the person who has been using the porn tendencies, and the person who has been violated. What I've found, and what God has taught us, is that this trust, this violation of trust, is that there's a root cause for it. And the root cause is this disconnection of intimacy between the partners. And there's this lost soulmate love that you once had. And it can be rekindled and brought back to life using the intimacy skills we teach. Discussed already is the check-in and the heart talk. And these are very important conversations to have. In addition to that, skills that we'd like to teach.
That emotional connection, I think, is the most important part of intimacy, is like feeling seen and understood by each other. It's those little, just all the moments we share together.
Yeah. In addition to communicating, what we find is that there's more to it than just hearing each other. There's also hearing the desires of the heart of the person who's speaking. And so it's more than just like listening to a person and saying, I hear you. It's also realizing that the person needs you in certain ways, or asks for things and calls you to action towards certain things. Unconditional love is a very important part of marriage. In fact, in our marriage vows, we actually state that we will love our partner in sickness and in health until death do us part. Most of us don't really take that very seriously when things are getting hard in our relationships. We start to just kind of disconnect, and we just kind of live side-by-side lives. And what we're advocating is that you never live a side-by-side life, that you fully be invested in your partner. Love unconditionally, kind of intimacy that has no equal. Your partner asks for things, or calls for your help, or has desires you may or may not want. Maybe you're too busy, or you're not interested in, or really not on your radar. True intimacy allows for to speak their heart to you, and for you to really hear them and to consider what they have to say without discarding what they're saying. We invite you to listen to your partner, but to really hear them and to hear what their desires are and what they're asking for, and to deeply consider prayerfully, meditative prayer, how you can help them and how you can be really there for them in their deepest desires and needs and wants. That is a really beautiful thing when we do that for each other. And when James does that for me, there is trust that is built between us. Like, he cares about me. When he hears me asking for things, desires of my heart, and he says, I would love to. I would love to be there for you. I would love to help. I would love to contribute. And even though he's busy sometimes, he's often busy. He's actually always busy. And he stops what he's doing, and he's really there for me. He really just is present. He touches me, he looks into my eyes, he hears me, and then he tries to help me. And that's a very loving act. Even when maybe earlier in the day, something negative might have happened, but he's still really there for me and really loves me. And when that happens, I feel really adored by him. And I do my best to do that same thing for him. And the more that we do that for each other, the more that intimacy is created and that bond is built. Invitation to you is to hear your partner, really love on your partner, really send that intentional love through your eyes and your physical contact. Really hear what they have to say, and to do your best to answer that call. And maybe you're not available right now, or maybe you're not sure if you're able to do that for them, but just to consider it, prayerfully consider it, and to be very present with them in that time, and so that you can rebuild that really beautiful soulmate connection that you deeply desire. And if you need help with any of these things that we've talked about today, I'd love for you to book a free coaching call with us to discuss the challenges that you're facing. We can help you to rebuild that soulmate love and connection, even after infidelity or porn abuse or sex issues that you're facing.
You got it right.
Well, thank you so much for being here on the podcast today, and we look forward to seeing you again. Aloha.